Hi everyone, this is our video 2 in our test-driven development playlist. This one's on properties. We're going to be creating some functions that set properties on values. So just like before, you should have your git bash running. Just to show you again, we should be in our O1 properties folder, type test them, get the test them scripts running, have them all failing, create a properties file, and the property spec script. So if we look at the spec script, it's basically telling before each, meaning before each time it runs one of these describe blocks, meaning the test, well, inside this describe properties of the object literal, it's going to run this function, which we have to create, set properties on object literal. It's going to pass this object, and then it's going to check if these things equal to what they're supposed to. So let's actually split this. Go to View, Split Editor, and now we can close this one out. And if we want to check, so we want to create function set. We can actually copy and paste it. Why not? It's kind of a long name. And it's going to take an object. So use the shorthand, and whoops, went too fast. It says set properties on object literal is not defined. Properties on object literal set properties. It expected it, so now that it is defined, it's expecting properties to equal 7. So we could say, when we pass it this object, we can say object.x equals 7, and we passed it. Then we want properties on object sets y to 8, and we can use a string to access it. If we look over here, it'll say .x, so that's two ways you can access properties on an object. You can use the dot operator, which is very specific, and you can use the y operator, which is a string, so you can access it. Sometimes, depending on some versions of JavaScript that you use, particularly using web development libraries, the dot operator can actually throw errors. So sometimes the string operators, which you'll have to go with. But let's go ahead and say obj.y equals 8. And we're going to hit save. Now we have two passing scripts. Now we want properties on object literal set properties sets property 1 plus to a function that adds 1 to its parameter. So if we look at it, 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. And if we wrote obj.1 plus equals a function that takes a num and it returns num, and like we showed in our operators video, we can say num plus plus. Whoops. And if we're doing, we want plus plus first. Yeah, great. Okay, so that looks like, now let's explore. Looks like we got our first 3 tests passed. We got x to 7, y to 8, and the 1 plus. Now let's see, it says now let's explore the idea of using arrays instead of objects. One of the coolest things about JavaScript is that arrays are just a specific type of object that has more features. Everything that you could do with objects, you can also do with arrays. So we have to create an array object. They're going to create an array object, set it to an array, and create another function that puts properties on an array. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to write a function, give it the name that it gave it, and we're going to say R for array, shorthand. We're going to hit return. Let's close this out for right now so we have a little bit more room. Pull this forward. And what's it want us to do? Sets the property hello to a function that returns hello. So, okay, so we can say r.hello is equal to a function that returns nothing as of right now, except for the value hello. And let's see what happens. and it passes. Fantastic. Sets the property full to stack, and we can use a string to access it. So we're going to set full equals stack, and we're going to get, and it passes. Accesses the 0 index value in the array, and it's equal to 5. So we're just going to say r.o equals 5. And sets the property 2 times to a function that multiplies its parameter by 1. Okay. Looks like I should say 2. 1 doesn't make any sense, and it would be the same number back. So we're going to just say r.2 times, and that's going to be equal to a function that takes a number, and it's going to return num times 2. I'm going to hit save, and it passes. Fantastic. Now, it's the same with functions, also with objects. So we're going to have to create set properties on a function object. So let's see. Before each, they're going to create a function object, set it to a function that returns I am a function object. All functions are objects. Function can have their own properties too. That's true. So let's go ahead and create our function that will take a function, and it'll be empty. And right now it says set properties on is not defined. Whoops, if I hit save over here, I don't want to hit save here, cancel. If I hit save over here, expected undefined to equal 2015. So properties on function object sets year to 2015. So we'll just say func.year equal 2015. And it passes. And then we want to sets divided by 2 to a function. So easy. Equals function num return num divided by 2, just like the operators in our operator video. And now, wow, look at that. 11 passed, 11 failure, specs passed, 1 left failing. So we want 1 more. We have to add it to the function prototype. So all functions have this thing called a prototype, and we can set new functions on that prototype. So there's things that are on the function object, and then there's things on the function prototype. So in order to do that, we actually have to say set properties.prototype .hello world equals function, and what's this supposed to return? To equal hello world. And hit save. Oh, hello world is not a function. Why not? Function object dot prototype. Oops, because it should be inside the function. What am I doing there? So we'll just hit func and hit save. Still's not happy with that. Prototype func.prototype .hello world. Aha. Hello word. We'll hit save. Hello world is equal to hello world, and we just need this space. And now we have it all passed. And like I said before, you should practice. You should create your own go ahead and create some of your own tests to see if you can get them to pass, or go ahead and just play around with putting stuff on a function. It's pretty cool. All the functions, you can always pass stuff into a function. You can pass anything into a function in JavaScript and it doesn't care. JavaScript is very forgiving like that. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Maybe you can give suggestions on what you want to see in my future videos. Next video is going to be on we're going to create a calculator. So we look forward to that. All right. Have a nice day.